today. Conversion between standard units. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, somebody drew that for me today. Conversion between standard units. So what we're going to do today is we're going to convert from inches to feet and ounces to pounds and back and forth and that kind of a thing. It's real easy. I'm going to show you a way that will always work. It's not always the shortest, not always the easiest. It just seems to be the most fun and the easiest to remember. And some of you have seen in my other videos, zoop, pow. We're going to get to that again today, and we're going to zoop, pow, knock these out, and you'll see how easy it is. So let's get to it. Conversion between standard units of measurement. All right, the key is the zoop, pow, and we'll just knock these out. Those of you who haven't seen it, look back at my other videos. You'll find it when we're doing fractions or some other things. Zoop, pow is everywhere. So we're going to start here, 8 ounces to pounds. So ounces to pounds. So whenever we know that there's a relationship between ounces and pounds, or any other thing, feet and inches, quarts and gallons, dollars per bags of chip, pizzas per guests, whatever, if there's a relationship between two things, that is the key to unlocking the relationship between two other things that we're not quite sure of. Let's call it proportion. And the way to deal with proportions, one way, an easy way, is the zoop pow method, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So we have these lines and labels, lines and labels, lines and labels. We're only dealing with ounces and pounds, so we do our labels. Ounces, ounces, pounds, pounds. Now it doesn't matter which ones are on top and which ones are on bottom, as long as the tops match each other and the bottoms match each other. If I had pounds, pounds, then ounces, ounces down here, it would still come out the same. It doesn't matter as long as the tops agree and the bottoms agree. And if you do your lines and your labels first, it will make things so much more easier for you, because you know right where the numbers go. You don't have to wonder about, well, where to put the number, and then you put it in the wrong place. And when people mess these up, that's typically what they do. They put the numbers in the wrong place. So this will help solve all that. Lines and labels, lines and labels. Lines and labels, zoop, pow. Lines and labels, zoop, pow. So we start here. Let's start with what we know. What we know, we have 8 ounces. How many pounds is 8 ounces? Well, we don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. So you put an X there. See, we're halfway done, haven't even thought yet. All we did was do our lines and labels, lines and labels, lines and labels. And then we put in what we have in front of us, 8 ounces. We don't know how many pounds that is. But then you either look up or you just learn that there are 16 ounces in a pound. That is the key relationship that unlocks things. The decoder ring, 16 ounces in 1 pound. So that is the other half. That's the conversion factor. The factor that converts one thing to another thing, the conversion factor. So what we do here is we look where the X is. X marks the spot, and it's on the left. So this, we don't really care about that so much right now. We just look here. So we start with the X and go to the flip side of the X. Flip side of the X, cross corner. Zoop, pow, circle motion, wham, knock it out. And again, one of the reasons that this helps the beginners especially is because this here reminds us to multiply as we go this way. And this line means divided by. So we just follow it here and we go like a treasure map. X marks the spot. And then we found the treasure of the answer that has been eluding us all this time. So we start here. 8 times 1 is 8. And then we divide that by 16. Well, okay. So now this is a fraction here that we can reduce. So it ends up to 8 divided by 8 is 1. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So it's 1/2 pounds. So this, our answer would be 1/2 of a pound is 8 ounces. It's easy. Anybody can do it. Lines and labels, zoop, pow. Find the X, flip side, cross corner. I'll show it again over here in the center. Feet to inches. It works the exact same way. Again, I know that there's a relationship between these two, so I know that there's going to be a relationship on one side that's going to unlock the relationship on the other side to figure out what's missing. So we have feet and inches, so I'll just put feet up here, and again, it doesn't matter where they are as long as the tops match each other and the bottoms match each other. What are we given? What's given to us? Well, we have 10 feet. How many inches do we have? Oh, we don't know. That's our X, and notice it's in the same spot. So if you get in a rhythm of how to think these through, a lot of them will look exactly the same, only the numbers will change to protect the innocent. But we just figure out what the answer is. So then we go over here. How many feet in an inch or inches in a foot? So you either look it up or you just know. that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So you have 12 inches in 1 foot. Now notice over here we had the big number on top, 16 ounces to 1 pound. Here we have the big number on bottom. And again, it just goes wherever you put your labels. But if you have your labels there, you automatically know where it goes. Or otherwise you could get in a hurry, put 12 up there and 1 down here, and then you would have it all backwards and get the wrong answer. So again, where does X over here is? On the left. So we get rid of that. Cross, flip side, do the flip side of the X. Cross corner, zoop, pow. So we multiply here, divide there. So 10 times 12 is, oh, it's a big number. But remember, when you got the zeros, it's easy. Just get rid of that 0, kind of put it on the shelf. That leaves just 1. 1 times 12 is just 12. Then once you figure that out, you get your 0 back off of the shelf, stick it back on there, you have 120. So 120 divided by 1, well, that's just going to be 120. So we have 10 feet is 120 inches. And it's easy. Just knock it out. And we're going to come back to this one here in just a little bit. But for now, let's go to quarts and gallons. And I'm going to show you a little picture here, but first we're going to convert this, and then you'll be able to see it when I draw the little picture. Some of you have heard of the gallon man. Well, I don't do the gallon man, but some people do, so you can Google that somewhere else or something. But I'm going to show you something that's not as common as the gallon man, maybe. But it's just another way to look at it. So here we go. We have 6 quarts and gallons. Again, we know we're going to have a proportional relationship. And just for fun, I'm going to put the last one on top this time. These two, I put the first one on the top, This time I'm going to reverse it so you can see that it does work either way. Put gallons on the top, gallons, and then I'm going to put quarts on the bottom. And then what do we have? We have what? 6 quarts. And just for fun, I'm going to mix it up and put it over here. So I don't want you thinking it has to be here on the top. It could be anywhere. It still works. So if I have 6 quarts, let's just pick there. And again, I know it's on the bottom because that's where quarts is. I already did my lines and my labels. And because I did lines and labels, lines and labels, lines and labels, then I know where the numbers go. So 6 quarts is, oh, we don't know how many gallons. That's what we're trying to figure out. Excuse me. And the trick is how many quarts are in a gallon. So either you look it up or you just know it's 4. And again, I'll show you a little picture here in a little bit to help you out with that. So 4 quarts is 1 gallon. And now everything is in place. Where's my X? It's on the right this time, so get rid of that. So let's go flip side of the X, cross corner, zoop, pow. Multiply 1 times 6 is 6. Divided by 4. Okay, well now we have an improper fraction, but remember this means divided by 6 divided by 4. So if we do this, 6 divided by 4, and the more you say it correctly, the more you'll practice writing it correctly so you don't get the numbers reversed. It's not always the bigger one or the smaller one inside. You just kind of have to deal with that depending on the context. So this will go 1. That would be 4. And there are 2 left. 2 out of how many? 2 out of the 4 that we've been trying to fit inside of the 6. So 2, watch this now, out of, that line also means out of, 4. And then we can reduce that to 1 1/2 gallons. So 1 1/2 gallons. Now what I'm going to do here, sometimes it won't say how many gallons. They may want it in gallons and quarts. For example, let's do this in feet and inches. How about that? Then we can't just have a simple fraction there. Well, it's worked the same way as this is. And then we'll get back to the picture over there. So we have this going on here. We still do the Zhu-Pow just like always. Inches, inches, feet, feet. They're giving us 28 inches. We don't know how many feet that is. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. Here's the X, flip side of the X, Zhu-Pow. So we have 28 divided by 12. And then if we divide that, 28 divided by 12, we get 2, that's 24. And then we have 4 left. Now here we can go 4 out of the 12. So if we just do 4 twelfths, like we did the fraction up there, we would have the fraction of 4 twelfths. But what does that mean? Well, 4 twelfths. 12 what? 12 inches. So 4 something out of the 12 something. The something is the inches. So we have 4 inches left out of the 12. So the answer would be 2 feet, and then we bring our 4 inches. So there will be times when you need to know not just a fraction of what's left, but how many inches out of what inches or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Now back to the gallons and stuff. If you look at it, the gallon as a big G, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this now. Think about the gallon being this gallon here. Big G, gallon. How many quarts are in a gallon? Well, there are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quart. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Get it? I'll try to make this a different color here just to make it stand out a little bit. Okay, so 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Well, how many pints are in a quart? Well, there are 2. 2 pints in every quart. So 2 pints in a quart. So right now you can already see how many pints in a gallon. 2, 4, 6, 8. Boom. Once you get the picture, it's just right there. But wait, there's more. If I ask you how many cups are in a pint, there are 2. Cup. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but I have to do something while I'm drawing the board over here. Okay, so there are 2 cups in every pint, right? So if I say, well, how many cups are in a quart? Cups in a quart? I don't even know what that is. Well, yeah, you do. 2, 4. There it is. 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart, and so on. Well, how many cups are in a half gallon? Well, here's a half gallon. 2, 4, 6, 8. Boom. And you're off and running. Does that make sense? Hope it does. But there's the gallon and the quarts and the pints and the cups. Get that picture in your head. It'll solve all kinds of issues for you when you're converting things. Anyway, so that's it for conversions between standard units. You can set up the Zhu-Pao and solve them that way. And just a little extra after this. One other way to do it, if you are more kinesthetic, is when you're going from ounces to pounds, are you going from big to small or small to big? And I have a paralyzed kind of gimpy arm, so you got to work with me and imagine that it's working. So we have ounces to pounds. Well, ounces is small, pounds is big. So if you go small to wide, divide. So you would divide 8 by the number of the conversion factor, 16. 16, so you have 8 divided by 16 because you're going from small to wide, you divide. And if you go from big to small, you multiply. So big to small, you multiply, small to wide, divide, big to small to wide. Okay, anyway, you get the point there? So if you start from big to small, notice it makes an X, multiply. If you go from small to wide, it's like you're dividing water or sand or something, and then you just plug in your conversion factor. Like we're here from feet to inches, again I'm going big to small. Now feet are bigger than inches, so I go from big to small, multiply. 10 feet times what? Times 12. 12 inches. 12 is the factor. So 10 times 12 is 120. 120. See how that works? So there's another little way, a little dance you can do, or whatever, if you want to get into it that kind of way. Math can be fun and nerdy, as you've been able to see. Anyway, so there we go, conversion between standard units. Have fun.